Statistics show that more than 30% of the global population today is lonely. And yet, how often do you hear people talking openly about it? More importantly, admitting that they feel that way. And while loneliness has always existed as a concerning mental and emotional health issue, newer studies now show that it's on its way to becoming an epidemic in many countries in the post COVID era. On a personal note, I grew up believing that feeling lonely was to feel like you're isolated, alone. And it's only recently that I've learned that you can also feel the exact same way in a crowd, at a party, sometimes even when you're surrounded by familiar faces. Hi guys, I'm Janice Sequeira, and this is the Healing Circle by Kodu, a holistic emotional wellness platform that focuses on real stories, real solutions with mental health experts and holistic healers available at your fingertips. Joining me today to discuss this very sensitive topic are two young content creators who I personally admire and who are also strong mental health advocates. Anish Bhagat, Kareema Berry, and to add more insight to their conversation, Neha Srivastava, a life coach. Welcome, guys.
The episode is called Loneliness. What is your definition of loneliness?
I feel like when you feel like you are alone, but you also feel an inability to seek the help that is available to you, can be very isolating and lonely. Like you might have friends and you might have family that can help you out with this, but the loneliness is so deeply entrenched in you that you just feel so alone that you can't even seek the help that you have. For me, that's what loneliness means.
Fair. I think for me it's the absence of not necessarily people, but absence of connection. And that connection for me subjectively is connection with myself. How happy am I with myself? How, when I feel that void, can I fill that for me? And when I can't, I feel lonely. I think that's what it is for me.
Yeah, for me, it's like, you feel that somewhere you are unheard, not seen, not heard, not be able to, understand your point of view because you lack connection with yourself. You feel ki, when you don't understand yourself, when that self-awareness goes missing, when emotional connect with yourself goes missing, is when you feel lonely, when even you're with a lot of people, even with that social media world where the connection is so strong, so high, but still you feel that, you know what, this is what I want and maybe nobody is able to understand or maybe I'm not able to communicate because the connection is lost within me.
For me, it was a realization. I think, how the entire year starts to get so active, November, December, Jan. And I think like in 2024, I'm a really social person. Or at least I think for a large part of my life, I've been a really social person. And it's also part of my job, I think, to a large extent, right? And I think last year, I started to realize, oh man, I'm not enjoying this entire energy of wanting to be around people, whether it's Diwali, whether it's Christmas. And a lot of it feels like, okay, I'm now putting on an act because that also comes so naturally to us, right? When we're around people and the ache to go back home and be alone, which was a new feeling for me. Being at a Tash party and being like, okay, how much more time do I have to play Teen Pati before I can go home?
Yeah.
That was a very strange new feeling for me of being around people and being like, okay, no, I want to go home and be alone.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys have ever faced that. Would that also be a form of loneliness?
Yes, exactly. At least I feel that. I remember my phase of life when I was like my business was going down and then I was going through my trying for my kids and things and stuff, going through those medication and I was like, is people understanding what I'm like? And everybody used to say, there's no pressure, yaar. I'm like, you have everything in life. Now, how do I cope up with the fact that it's not about everything in life? It's not that you're running for a dream or a chase. It's about that connection just gone. Yeah. There's no connect. You don't feel connect. You don't understand yourself so much. And that is where you feel that missing part, and suddenly you feel that, not connected with this person, even to your close friends and family members, you don't feel that connect. Yeah. You don't want to talk. You don't want to even share your feelings. That's really goes through you.
I mean, I didn't want to share my feelings because I also felt like, oh my God, it's that time of the year when you don't want to be Debbie Downer. You don't want to be that person who's like, oh, everyone else is having fun at a Diwali party or at a Christmas party or it's like a year end.
Yeah, and it's so isolating, right? When you're there and you're basically dissociating from the reality that you're in.
Love that word, dissociating hard.
Yeah. It's really just dissociating from everything you know and everything that feels familiar also. And you're just there and you're like, what if I was just enclosed in a space and I could be what I truly feel right now, which is not this. And then you want to run back, right? Because you're just like, I am performing.
Wait, sorry, this is very interesting. You think you put on something when you're with around people you love also? Like, you need to
Sometimes.
disassociate? Okay.
I think sometimes I'm also, like you said, you don't want to be a Debbie Downer. You don't want to be that
Okay.
person.
Debbie Downer in our definition is what I'm trying to find a more like regular term for it. Debbie Downer feels like it's like you don't want to be the person pulling everyone's energy down
Correct.
or ruining
Yeah.
the party for
Yeah.
everyone or ruining that
Yeah.
outing for everyone just because
100%.
you're not in that zone.
Put on a happy face, basically. Yeah.
Which is bad. You should be able to do that. But like always you can't. Like you know that you're contributing a certain amount of fun to this gathering or this hangout, and you're just like, what if I was not who they think I am?
Fair.
They suddenly ask you also what has happened, you know. I mean, you are always that energy giver in the party, and suddenly if you couldn't connect, how much you try hard to be, you know, putting up that mask, it is difficult. Like, I feel it's very difficult because
I mean, for us, like, you know, for my group, I know that Diwali parties especially and like playing Teen Patti till like 5 in the morning is a very big thing, okay?
Okay.
And suddenly I'm like at 1 o'clock, like, guys, I want to go home. Like, and they're like, what? Abhi to shuru kiya hai. What is wrong with you? You've not even like lost 500 rupees yet. And I'm like, I want to go home.
I have friends that allow me to do that and they don't question. I think it's very important to have people who are empathetic and understand mental health deeply. And no questions asked, no convincing. Just do whatever you want to. And I think I have a friend circle like that.
Is that?
I feel at times, you know, when you're feeling lonely, it's a point where you actually discover yourself, explore yourself.
Yeah.
Try to, because you're finding answers for something. So you go deep down, and maybe that solitude, that loneliness will give you another aspect of your life. I always feel that till the time you don't have that crisis situation, you don't move to the next level of your life. And I feel that's very important.
Character
So,
development.
yes, but it should not be a
Do it for
prolonged,
the plot.
Do it for the plot.
yeah, it shouldn't be a prolonged loneliness, but at times it's good also for a fact that, yes, you are going to connect with yourself, want to explore yourself more, discover yourself more, and maybe find something more out of it.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was in university.
This is where? This is what part of the globe?
In India.
Oh, in India. So,
Yeah.
okay, huh.
And I was really mad at my best friend because she didn't accompany me for lunch. And I was like, I was sitting alone at the table. How could you abandon me like that? And I had this whole conversation, argument. And that's when she told me that it's okay if I'm not there, but why can't you sit alone and eat your lunch? And that's when we had this whole another perspective. It's like, why are you not enough by yourself? And since then, I have actually worked and become okay with being alone and feeling also lonely. It's all right.
I mean, being. Yeah.
There's a difference between being alone and being
And
lonely.
lonely, yeah.
Loneliness is an emotional, you know, deep down emotional feeling where you feel that, you know, I'm unheard, misunderstood, unable to connect with people around, unable to connect with myself.
Yeah.
Whereas alone is, you know, I need my solitude time, maybe
Yeah.
to discover myself. Though loneliness also gets you to that point that you discover yourself.
I was just going to say that, Neha, because I feel like one of the toughest phases in my life was when I felt the loneliest. And at the end of that, what it taught me was that I'm okay being alone, by the way. Like, I don't constantly need to run to my best friend or even to family and to cry and scream and shout about it. Though that's not how I ever dealt with my low phases. But I just realized it's okay to have that full breakdown.
And you only build yourself
And then
up.
you only figure
Yeah.
out, okay, you know what, now I'm reached here. Now how do I start building on top of this and start being
Yeah.
okay? Because this reality of like, for me it was basically like when I started living alone again. And it was after a gap of like 11 and a half years and I was like, oh my God. For 11 and a half years you've shared the house with someone else and you're like, wow, now I'm all alone. But at the end of that phase I did feel like, okay, now I've understood my space better. I know how to, like there are different parts of my house that I'll go and sit when I want different energies.
Fair.
That's really cool.
Like I won't go into my bedroom now until I have to crash.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually a coping thing.
That's
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
good because I'm just like
Yeah.
going there now reminds me, okay, it's a great time when I'm like exhausted after a
Yeah.
long day, want to go sleep.
Yeah.
But during the daytime,
You go spiral in there.
living room,
Yeah.
study, that's
Yeah.
it.
I think to deal with loneliness, it's all about, or any mental health issues, it's training your mind. No self-care, no putting good skincare. I don't think that helps. It's just a gimmick. I really genuinely believe it's how you train your mind. And your thoughts can create your reality.
Okay, so no self-care, but I'm sure you have like some
I mean,
sort
I'm not
of like...
against self-care.
No, but I'm saying
yeah.
that, see, whatever works for anyone else,
Yeah,
right?
true, fair.
But do you have like a bunch of tools that you then lean on when you hit like, when you think, okay, I'm going to be alone for a few days and maybe this might come. So, you know, maybe I might have feelings of feeling low, feeling alone, feeling lonely.
Yeah.
Do you have tools then to cope with?
Yeah, I mean, I do therapy, and I really actually map down. I write, and journaling really helps, and meditation also really helps to really discover yourself and find your strength there. Yeah.
We talk a lot about meditation. Do you meditate, Kareema?
No, I've found it very, very difficult to really get into it. Like, I've tried it many times and I know that it works and I know that it's lovely, but it just hasn't been something that I've been able to do. I spoke to my therapist also about this, and she was like, it's okay. Like, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't. Because sometimes I did some sound therapy also once. Honestly, worst hour of my life, because I was just laying
What
there.
is sound art? What is sound therapy?
Like, they do that thing.
Sound,
Bowls, those
yeah.
Tibetan bowls,
Yeah,
and yes,
yes.
So
It was
you didn't enjoy it?
For my friend who took me there, it works wonders, and I can see why it would work wonders. But the 1 hour that I was laying there in darkness and hearing these sounds, I thought of the worst things possible.
Oh.
Like, I thought of everything bad that could have happened in my life. And then my therapist was like, since you are neurodivergent, sometimes that sort of meditation is going to take a little longer for you to achieve.
I think every therapy is different and it resonates to different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very
Few
subjective.
people
Agreed.
can go
Yeah.
with the sound therapy.
Yeah.
Few are the kind of a person who might need Reiki, crystal healing. For few, it's just writing it down and just questioning your own thought. For me, like, this works
Yeah.
wonder. If you're going through any kind of an emotional disturbance, just keep writing it.
Yeah.
Scribble, scribble, scribble. And when you will, like, whatever you've written, you just read it and you question yourself. Am I overthinking about it? Am I giving it too much of weightage? Does it really? This is what I want.
Yeah.
So when you start questioning yourself, you start seeing that relaxation within you. Ki maybe I overreacted, I overthought about it, or maybe I've given power to something else, right? Which is not required only, right? So very small emotional issues, you just sort it out by just doing that. I call it as a TR journal, thought journaling,
Yeah.
where you put it and analyze it. And it should be a very self-driven process where you really get in touch with yourself.
Amazing.
And I feel that that's a very beautiful tool that works. And the next thing is just go out for a run. If you feel that you are anxious, just go out for a run and release it. And then you feel like you really want to write it down. And
I
it's
think you're
like-
coaching us right now. I love that. Love that for us.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time, like when you felt truly lonely?
Like the day before yesterday or something. I don't know. Like, I feel like it comes and goes as it pleases. The little wave of loneliness comes in the middle of the evening, and then I'm just like, what is my life? What is, like, my frontal lobe is really just not developing as fast as I want it to. And then I'm like, do I really like my job? Do I want to be this person? Am I happy? It's just, and then 2 hours later, I'm watching something on Netflix, and I'm just like chilling.
Watching Masaba.
Sure.
Probably.
Sure. Why not? But yeah, I think it just comes and goes as it pleases. I don't
And when
think.
it comes, what do you do?
I sit with it now. I think I used to try to escape it by like immediately making a social plan, or like immediately trying to do something, or indulging in something that's not necessarily healthy for my body, or just self-sabotaging in a way for me to just escape that emotion, even if the other emotion that I'm escaping to is worse than that. Now I think I've started, not that I'm very equipped to give any advice on this, I think now I've just started sitting with it. Like you said, you've been thinking a lot more.
Yeah.
I've just started sitting with it, letting it simmer, letting it pass on its own. It's okay. Like 2 hours I'm wasting in a day thinking about my brain, fine.
No, it's totally okay. Like you do you. And I'm saying, but I've also found some activities that help. Like, so she said running. So yeah,
oh,
I
like
have
that.
done that. Put on your shoes, put on your track
Cardio.
pants. Let's go to Carter Road and run this off. Except that now you really can't run at Carter Road.
Oh.
You really can't.
No?
Yeah, because it's very smelly.
Not
and
just
very
smelly.
crowded.
Every like 10 steps is someone.
Yeah,
And you
there's a lot
stop.
of people. Yeah.
Again, you run, you stopped. So it's not possible to run. But yeah, and the other thing that worked for me is sometimes just going to a movie theater on my own. Like, so I anyway like theaters, and I've realized it's something I can do alone.
That's true.
Are there any such activities you guys have discovered that work for you?
I've started,
Painting?
yeah, I've started painting a lot. Like I always somehow wanted an easel growing up. And then when I had disposable income finally in life, I went and purchased an easel. Like that was one of the first things I did.
Huh.
And I just started painting a lot. Like I just really enjoy it. I sit with it. The sunlight has come. I think art has helped my loneliness. Like just maybe,
Yeah.
I used to read a lot more than I do. Like I studied literature also, but I have started reading smaller excerpts. Just like reading words has helped me. Maybe even going to a museum, like you said, theater. Just consuming art has helped me feel less alone.
Dude, reading is such a huge part of this.
Yeah.
Like I feel like in the last couple of years, reading has come back into my life in such a big way, and I'm so like happy because I genuinely believe that like if you have a book on you, you're
calms you
never
down.
alone.
Yeah.
Right.
It's actually also very immersive. All of these things that you guys are mentioning, it's immersive and mindful.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I also do something very mindful, very immersive, like drinking, smoking to cope with loneliness.
No one.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I like driving.
Even I feel driving is a very good thing because
Right?
you're just listening to the music and goes through that introspective thought
Yeah.
process. It's just you with yourself.
Yeah.
And though it's very difficult to drive in Bombay, but I feel now the moment you prep your mind that it's okay with the traffic and I'm not going to see anything,
Yeah.
you really go through into your thoughts like I always miss my turn.
Yeah.
When I am driving and I know it's going to be 2 hours reaching home,
Yeah.
so you miss that turn because you're just thinking something.
Yeah, that happens
So
to you,
it's
right?
also a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are with yourself
Well,
at
I
that
can't
moment.
drive, so thanks, guys.
You're a passenger princess.
Yeah.
That's your vibe.
I remember someone said something like, I don't know if this was in therapy or a friend said this to me, like, you know, even if you feel like you've done nothing in a day and you're feeling really shitty about yourself, and also sometimes because you've done nothing, you feel like, oh my God, I've done nothing today, I'm feeling really bad, right? So just get up and get into your car and go for a drive.
Yeah,
It feels like you've done something.
I
You know, I've
agree.
taken auto rides to nowhere before, like just like 1 hour of auto ride. I do it on Uber only. I'll put the location. I'll put my location back home. I'll
Lovely.
put my earphones on at night, like at like 11, after 11. Go on the auto ride, come back. It's really like
Wow, I've never done that. It's so cool.
That is interesting. What did the auto wala say though? What did the auto bhaiya say?
He's just getting his money. He doesn't care.
So young love na, so
stop comes. I'm like, उनको pick up करना था पर वो नहीं आ रहे. आप चल लीजिए वापस.
अच्छा.
Pretend like I'm picking someone up.
Fair.
He doesn't really care, but I only am like, just to let you know that I'm not.
Yeah.
I want to give the clarification. I'm here for some work.
More accessible,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I love that though. I totally do that. I feel like auto rickshaw rides are also very therapeutic.
No, no.
Yeah.
Very dirty, very on your face. Baba, I can't. It's just too romanticized. I don't get it.
I'm a full auto rickshaw rani. I love my
that
auto
for you.
rickshaw.
Love that for you.
But you know, guys, the weird thing about loneliness, and I mean, in general, I feel like now we're talking so much about mental health, right? All of us are very open about the fact that we're in therapy. Some of us are also open about the fact that there's medication, other alternative forms of healing. But I think when it comes to specifically talking about feeling lonely, I could be wrong, but there's still a little bit of shame about it. Like, I feel like people be like, you know, I'm having a bad mental health day. But then to specifically say, no, I'm feeling really lonely today. I'm feeling like no one understands me. Or I'm feeling that I feel like people aren't still talking about, right? And why do you think there's still shame attached to it?
I think we're conditioned to showcase we have it all and believe that vulnerability is your weakness, but it's actually your strength. And you know, there might be feelings when people might think, what if I say and nobody cares? But people don't know people actually truly care, and most might not. Some might call you, you know, you're victimizing yourself, but there would be very few people who could actually connect with you, and you could be helping them by sharing your trauma. So I see why people why they feel embarrassed about it.
Is that why you guys decided to talk about this? Like, I mean, I feel like when we were also asking people to be on this episode, we were mindful that whoever comes on has to share. And I feel like there was hesitance from some of the people we approached because they were like, oh, this is a tricky topic and we don't know. Like, if you say mental health, yes. But loneliness, don't know.
Only more personal. Na?
It's very
Mental health, you can kind of, you're talking about it like, yes, go to therapy, yes, seek the help that you need. Loneliness is like, yeah, have I felt loneliness before? And then you can talk about it. Why people are ashamed, I think, is not about the people. I think that it's just how we've been conditioned to
Portray ourselves.
Yeah, and like we've been taught to be ashamed. It'll take a while. Like even for Gen Z, like this generation, which I guess is the most open about talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact that so many people, everyone who I speak to, it's like we've normalized going to therapy so much, and I love that.
Yeah.
Because now there's like no shame attached to it. No
Correct.
one in your family is like, oh, why do you need therapy?
Yeah.
What has gone so wrong in your life? We've given you everything. Arey, no, it's not about that.
कुछ wrong है क्या? तुम ठीक हो ना? Like नहीं भाई, ले लिया therapy अब.
I mean, earlier families used to be like, oh, हमने कुछ गड़बड़ किया ना? Have we brought you up the wrong way? What have we done? No, boss. Sometimes like you just need to go talk to someone who has no investment in your life.
Yes, yeah, totally. But yeah, even for this, that's what like, but I mean to say that even for this amount of openness, it's still some level of conditioning that has taken place that will naturally make you feel a little ashamed, and you will be like, you have to work towards not feeling it, which will only happen through more and more conversation. I
Because
feel.
we don't reflect our own authentic self. That's our problem. We are always in a mask of way ki how somebody is gonna judge. What is someone else feeling? That's our biggest problem. What others are feeling. We, when even strike a conversation with someone, we don't get into that meaningful, deep down, authentic conversation where I have that courage to say, okay, you ask me how are you feeling, and I would say, okay, today I'm not feeling good. I won't have that courage to say. It's very coming as, okay, I'm fine, yeah, life is good.
I mean,
Why
I
is it
could,
good?
I think, say to a lot of the people in my life, I'm not feeling like I'm having a great
I've
day.
started.
I also quite
I'm
openly
like,
say.
how are you? You have asked me how are you? I'll say it now.
Say it now.
Not
Now
very
you better
good.
sit and listen.
Let's go.
Exactly.
I think like the number one thing is I don't want that fake answer like how are you? I'm good. No, yaar.
Tell
I
us.
just said that to you. I'm kidding.
No, but also because I mean I also want to know like how can we be better about like when someone says they're lonely. I feel like for a long time when I would tell my mom I'm feeling like this, she'd be like, okay, I'm coming. And I'd be like, no, bro, that's not what I want you to do. Like, I don't need another person. How can we be better at sort of being there for people who are feeling lonely or feeling like, you know, they're isolated?
I think just listening, right? That's the only thing that you can do is listen.
Sometimes you can't express yourself.
Yes.
What will you listen to?
Fair. Never
Yeah.
thought about it
No,
like
but
that.
then when you listen to other people, na, you are actually don't realize it, but you are in that therapy zone, in that where you are picking up from other life experiences and getting into कि हाँ शायद this is not the perception I've thought about, right? But connecting with yourself only happens when you actually strike those meaningful, deep down conversation with anybody. And I feel with strangers, it works wonder.
Yeah.
When you have your family members, they at any given point of judge you. Like you said, मम्मी बोलेगी ना कि यार मैं हूँ, what is wrong, मैंने क्या नहीं दिया.
Bias आ जाता
But
है.
we
हाँ.
don't want that. We just want somebody to
Objectively
listen to
listen.
us
Yeah.
actively, be there in that energy zone, vibe with that my energy and understand what I mean to say. Maybe I have not said those words, but you still heard it, what I mean it.
You know,
So
sometimes
that
I
is-
feel so like, why don't we have more of a system or a culture of support groups? Do you know like how in the West, like, you know, there are groups for everything, whether you're dealing with addiction, whether you're dealing with very specific life-changing issues, right? Whether
Yeah.
you're dealing with divorce, you're dealing with mental health issues, and they're just support groups where you can go and literally talk to strangers. And in India, we don't have that culture.
Yeah, we don't. You're right.
We
absolutely.
really don't have that culture. I mean, and so, you know, when she said talking to a stranger really helps, I'm like, I don't think I've ever spoken to a stranger. Have you guys ever spoken to someone who's like not your friend or family member?
I have, yeah.
Like
You know why we
oversharing too,
can't?
I have done.
Not oversharing, like really like been there in the moment, sharing your mental health or like loneliness or like going through like
Yeah.
a shitty phase.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'll be like, hi, I'm experiencing existential dread right now. How's it going with you? But I guess, yeah, I'm doing it more in a humorous way than I
Yeah,
am.
I'm not
Yeah,
meaning
you're very humorous. You're very.
But I'm talking about real things. I am experiencing existential
Yeah,
dread.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying it in
Yeah.
a way where
The problem is digital world is taking that away from us.
I disagree.
Yeah, see what
I
happens
think I
is-
express so much of my vulnerability with
No,
my
no,
audience.
I didn't mean it that way. It's what I
No,
mean
no,
to
no.
say
You can
is-
have this
Yeah,
disagreement.
yeah. It's all
but
good.
I love
what
it.
happens is initially when we used to be going to the airport or thing, we generally have that जो बगल में बैठा हम उसके बारे में जान ही लेते because we talk. Now what happens is we are over the phone consumed with the disconnect world where you are connected to somebody but not trying to connect with the next person you're with. Is,
first step is
this
to
is-
feel social on a
Yeah.
flight. I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
My
Yeah,
hood is
बाप रे.
up. And
Yeah, same.
If I'm not in
Yeah.
the zone, it's like,
Yeah.
like the outfit only is like, don't
Talk
talk
to me.
me.
Brilliant.
From head to toe, I'm like, don't talk to me. But do you feel like as Gen Z represent and as creators who are also so connected with your audience, right? Like you're creating content sometimes around the fact that you're not feeling good.
Yeah.
Or that you're having a particularly low phase, lonely phase, whatever it is. Has being more connected made it more difficult to have connections?
In real life, you mean?
Like just in general, like do you feel like we all think we're very connected, right? But do you really feel connected?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I am on the best side of social media. I have a great I have great followers. I'm genuinely myself. I don't have necessarily influencer friends. I have real friends who do other jobs and are crazy people. So I've never had a moment of being a social media person and stepping out of it. I'm actually me and showcasing that truly. So I've never had a moment where I need to step into that and step out of it.
So your social media journey has been very like authentic because you put so much of your life out there. I think in bits and pieces, I think you're very selective about what you're putting out there though, right? Because the private stuff stays private.
Not all.
Okay, let me rephrase. The private stuff that is not going to make for great content stays private.
Yeah.
Yeah?
You
Calling
got.
out.
I think you
Like
got me. We are
that.
connected now. I think we know each other too well. Yes, fair. Yeah.
But I'm saying that there are like also like, I don't know, sometimes I do feel like even though you're putting out all of this, you're looking at your own page and you're like, who is this person? No?
That happens.
Yeah?
Yeah, that happens.
Do you look at Anish from like 2 years ago who was sharing content and you're sometimes looking at him and you're looking at your old videos and like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah, definitely embarrassed.
Not
truly.
embarrassed because of the content, but like just in terms of how much you've evolved sometimes.
Oh yeah, because of evolution. Yeah, I do see like, oh, that's a different guy.
Yeah? You?
I have a question for you after I answer, but or should I just ask now?
No, ask.
Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, no, like I mean, like my content I feel is more like I can kind of keep my personal life to myself, I feel, to an extent, because
Yeah.
I'm doing characters a lot of times. But for you, is it more, because a lot of your content is based on your life experiences, your relationships with people and how you see them. So do you think that makes it harder for you in some ways to,
Hard in what way?
like to kind of perceive yourself differently from your content, or do you kind of have that like mix up for yourself sometimes?
I actually don't understand it. No, sorry, what?
Like as in sometimes like sometimes my content is very separate from what is
Who
going
you
on
are.
in my life.
Yeah, agreed. It's kids, like kind of.
Correct.
Yeah.
But when you are exploring, say, certain dynamics that are real life dynamics,
Yeah.
do you think that kind of messes it up, or do you feel a certain way about them later? Like when she asked you a question, like when you see content from 3 years ago.
I don't think so. I think because of content creation, I was like a loner and unapproachable kind of guy. So because of content and my love for people, in my head, I wouldn't actually do it in action. I would actually meet people, get to know them, do something for them. That was so crazy for me that because of content, I could actually connect. So for me, that was my icky guy. So I don't think I'm doing a job. I'm like just really exploring life and just like vlogging it, basically.
amazing.
No,
Yeah.
that's actually, I mean,
Very
great
great
because
question,
I feel
yeah.
like I don't get it fully because, like she said, I'm sometimes wondering like how much of my life is okay to go online.
Yeah.
Not sometimes, all the
All
time.
the time, okay, huh.
And I find it like really like when I meet people who are vlogging their lives, I'm like, fuck, this has got to be like tough on certain days. Yeah, like watching just like these clips of things that have not worked out sometimes. No? Never? You've never had a moment where you're breaking down, where you're editing something, or you're putting something together and like, oh my God, no, I don't want to put this up? That's cool, yeah.
I just go, I'm like, it's gonna make it to the Reddit. So I'm just, जाने दो.
The Reddit conversation.
Okay, yeah, moving on.
I don't relate. Is where I'll start. I overthink everything. I'm just like,
Same, if I vlogged something yesterday and I feel like it's something that is like very personal, I'm like the next day I'm watching it and I'm like, no.
He's putting himself out. Like,
Yeah.
this is who am I, and I'm having a connection with everyone.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to edit or maybe do anything. This is
yeah.
what I feel for the day. I'm going to just put it out.
And people might call it scripted and very fake also, but that's actually me. And I love that. And if you accept me, accept me. You don't try it.
Kareema, in your case, you uprooted your entire life in Kolkata and then decided you wanted to come to Bombay. I feel like one of the lonely experience, like when you're talking about things that trigger loneliness, is moving cities.
Yeah, I want to really know about that.
What was that
definitely.
phase like?
So I moved to Delhi for college. So I had moved from spending my entire life in Calcutta to moving to Delhi for college. Then I moved to Bombay. But I think the difference between Calcutta and Delhi was that there was like a prescribed way for me to make friends, like school or college, where I was seeing a certain set of people every day and I was kind of having that support in that very structured manner. You just end up making friends, I feel.
Yeah.
And then when I moved to Bombay, it was kind of very jarring for me, first of all, because I didn't have any family here. I didn't have any friends who knew me from before content started. And I had to make like all new friends and everything and like explain why I am who I am, which I got very lucky with. Now I have a
What do you
great
mean
set of
by
friends.
explaining who I am?
Like in the sense, there are certain experiences that your friends already know of when you like, you know, just your general behavior, like,
Contextualizing your life essentially.
basically,
like
yeah.
why I went on this date, because I went on this date 5 years ago and I got trauma from it and now I'm reacting to it in this particular manner. It's just a lot to explain.
Yeah.
But even apart from that, like you just get
Yeah, I
comfortable.
get it, yeah.
And then I think Bombay itself is just the most overstimulating city in the whole world.
500%.
And I moved back, in fact, for 6 months in the middle. I came to Bombay, stayed here for 1 year. 6 months I went back to Calcutta because I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I'm gonna self-sabotage. I'm gonna do something. And
But what did Bombay make you feel?
Alone. I was feeling very lonely. I was like, I didn't understand my position of where I was, what I was supposed to enjoy, what I liked. It was also my first time adulting as a real adult who was not in college, like really trying to figure out like how to. It's also my first job is being a content creator. And at the time in like 2021, 2022, there's not much of a precedent for Indian content creators also. Like,
Yeah.
it's still relatively a new industry.
Yeah.
So you don't have like a set path or like I'm going to get a promotion after 5 years.
Yeah, you don't
I got to
know.
work for this or whatever. I'm not relevant, you know.
And the whole relevance conversation is such a yo-yo because you're
Different.
relevant today, then you're not relevant again, then you're relevant again, then you're not relevant. It's like a freaking, like, there is no,
Yeah.
you don't know how you're going to grow in this industry.
No.
And you don't know for sure if you're going to grow in this
You don't know
industry.
anything. You're just raw dogging it, as I like to call
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's really just. But yeah, then I think I moved into an apartment alone. And moving in alone was the best thing I did because that really helped my loneliness in some way. I think I learned to be by myself. I learned to relax after meeting a bunch of people. I didn't have to come back to a flatmate and have a conversation about my day. I could sit with it. I could just relax a little bit.
Compose yourself, yeah, like
Yeah.
relax, yeah.
And that helped me, like just
Yeah.
not feeling. Then when I came back from that 6-month break of mental health in Calcutta and I came back to Bombay, I moved in alone and that healed me. And that
It's such a paradox though, right? Like the fact that you were living earlier with roommates
Yeah.
was more of a lonely experience and made you feel like you hated this experience
Yeah.
even more. And then you came back and you're like, I want to live alone.
Alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very
Because
paradoxical.
then I could invest my energy into more fruitful friendships outside of my house
agree.
and just have the energy and less exhaustion to just meet someone for 1 hour, tell them why I am who I am, so they can help me later. Like make friends, invest into friendships, then you'll feel like, you know.
But this is such an interesting point that she's touched upon, right? That, you know, like being alone has sort of like, is like the answer to how you've like gotten rid of your
Yeah.
loneliness.
So
like
strange.
learning to be alone.
Yes. Yeah.
Because the definition of loneliness itself is like you feel alone and isolated. But there's such a difference, like she said earlier, right? Like between loneliness and feeling alone.
Yeah.
When was the last time you sort of feel like you really experienced a bout of loneliness?
So when I started shooting for my first show, I was shooting for Bandish Bandits. I was 21 when I got the part. I was entering the film industry. I didn't know anybody there. Overwhelming because we shot for around 2 years. And I was so scared, naive, young, just being on set with like thousands of people. And it's crazy, it's wild. And I think that was a moment of, oh, how do I fit in? What do I do? Who do I talk to?
It's fitting, Bob. It is very,
It's very, yeah. And with this industry, but fortunately, I had the best team. I had Anand Tiwari, who's the director of the show, and Shreya. So, I mean, I had great cast. So they really helped me. And also, I had this whole influencing thing going on for me. So I was me. But I think that was just a shift for me when you segued into filming. I think it was a little difficult. But I'm a little comfortable with it now.
So when would you experience it? When you'd go back to your hotel room?
No, on set. And just sitting, everybody's talking, having a conversation. I'm just sitting. That is kind of weird. Like, do I do something? Am I not laughing enough, or am I not like, I don't know. Like, that feels a little, yeah. And even at these influencer parties.
Oh my God, I was just going to say that because like I've been invited to a bunch and I feel like
Kya karoon?
I don't know what to do. Like if okay. So it's almost like if I have a friend who I can hold on to really tight,
Crutch.
like a pull crunch,
Yeah.
I will go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just like, my body language is like, where are my hands going? I'm saying stupid things to people. I'm like taking a drink, but I don't want to drink. Why is it in my hand? I'm just not feeling comfortable in my body. My purse is falling. Like, what is happening? I'm just not composed.
This is the owner of the whole world. Why don't you get introduced to this person? And you're just like, am I being normal?
But there have been times like you've asked me the most basic question, but because I'm feeling such a strange sense of
Loneliness.
because yes, you are lonely in that
You
room. I'm
are.
like, oh my god, what do I do?
Janice, you and I next time together.
Pull
Cling on to
crutch.
each other.
I'm telling you, if I don't have a crutch, I don't go.
Oh, really? And not to shit on creators, they work really hard and I respect them, but they are, I mean, subjectively, they're social
The
climbers.
statement he said right before he shut down creators. Go ahead.
No, I would never. I respect all the creators. I genuinely respect what they do.
See, you can
Might not
respect
respect the
what they
people
do.
they are.
Yeah.
And अरे भाई कितने social climbers होते हैं नहीं? Do you not agree?
But I don't think social climbing is also bad.
I too don't like it. It doesn't align with me maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't get along with people. I can't hold a conversation people who are like social climbing. I don't get
networking
it.
and social climbing में क्या difference है फिर?
Network में you getting to know each other.
Huge difference.
Yeah, a lot of difference. Yeah.
See, social climbing, okay, this is my definition of it, right? Social climbing is that you're only hanging out with Anish because of who Anish knows, and the minute you get to know those people, you dump Anish.
Yeah.
Or you
Okay.
dump Janice,
Okay.
right? Networking
Then you're
is
just
like
a bad
we're all
person.
getting to know each other,
Yeah.
but you're also still friends with the person who brought you into that circle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And networking is also not necessarily an ulterior motive.
Yeah.
So social climbing is coming with अरे इसके मेरे को ये benefit उसके साथ and ज़्यादा followers I turn around and it happened with me and I'm like okay this is really weird.
Okay.
I don't like these
Yeah, I
people.
mean, if somebody's being a bad friend, that's bad in
Yeah.
general.
Network also if you want to grow something, maybe, you know, like two people networking.
That's what I feel like
kind of a
networking
thing, yeah.
also has a
social.
I mean, but I feel
incentive.
like networking, it's like,
It
okay,
does, but not necessarily always an incentive, I guess.
I feel like networking is a lot more like open. Like, you know, I'm like, okay, of course I want to meet that filmmaker if I've gone to XYZ party.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that that becomes the only reason
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
taken, you know, if I want to meet Anand Tiwari, for example, and I've gone with Anish, I'm not going to only be like, that's not the focus over there.
Yeah.
Correct.
I want to meet him, but I'm also gone there because I want to hang out with Anish. Like,
Yeah.
that's different, right?
Yeah,
From
it's
saying,
very-
oh no, I'm only going to go there and I'm going to use him to get there.
Ethical networking is what we are.
And also to connect.
No.
You could also connect with Anand Tiwari, not necessarily pull out some strings with him. Just have connect and get to know him, yeah. Like, you know, whatever.
But yeah, I know, I get what he's saying because a lot of the time the creator events is like,
I think I've become too honest. I shouldn't.
There are times when you're just like, hi, how are you? Let's take a picture. Bye. It's done. That's the interaction.
Yeah.
it's very cold.
Yeah, it is. Nah,
But
I agree.
then you'll have to think that that's a part of the job. Like sometimes you're invited to an event where you kind of have to post a story also.
So then
and you
I'm
have
just
to
like-
tag. And then that's the whole job.
So we did a brand collaboration and we did something like that. So I met Kareema. We just had like a fleeting conversation. I was like, okay, listen, I have to shoot a video. but but also I came to drop you at your car. I was
Yes,
very nice.
yes.
Because
But
I was
that's good
connecting with you.
manners. You're a good-
I was connecting
yeah.
with you also though.
That's
yeah.
true. Yeah. Sometimes you connect, sometimes you do. I think it's like a lot of times I don't, but I'm like, it's fine. Like I don't have to be best
Yeah.
friends.
You don't have to
Yeah,
have like
I
one
agree.
amazing, like I am going to be your new friend connection.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just feel like it's very plastic.
Fair. Yeah.
See, again, my point is if you guys are collaborating and you all had to shoot with each other for work,
That's
that is different.
Yeah.
Even when I have to go to events now, I'm just like, okay, either the brand is someone I have an association with, so I have to go for them. So then it's like blinkers on, get in, get out.
Yeah.
Or pay me. Very happy to come then.
Only pay me. Only.
Only go when they pay you.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's why I'm not at events.
Community experience is very important for people who are especially coming from a different city. Like I think you found also like you found spaces and communities here. Like I think you were telling me about that goddess community.
Yeah.
And then there were other communities that you sort of found yours. Was that like, did that help you ease into this entire Mumbai experience?
I'm very bad with actually following through with a lot of classes, and even like starting to work out is very difficult. Like it's just like I can't follow through with plans. Must be my neurodivergence, but it's just.
I just want to tell you that we had a tarot and a astro episode, and one of the predictions for 2025 is that get into the gym. Your body will reward you this year in dividends.
It's Pilates okay.
I love
Any
Pilates.
form of like getting
It's
into
great.
the
Just
gym,
started.
like body workout experience is okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Movement has like it really going out for a run. Act like when my mother has said all her life, just go out, take a walk, eat
Yeah.
some fruits, eat healthy. It will help you. She was right.
Yeah.
She was right.
She was right.
It
It
just
only
helps.
stuck after 30 years of our
Yeah,
life.
having routine, going out and having a prescribed way of meeting people in a community does help.
There was also a BBC study that I was reading last night in preparation for this interview where I think they spoke to close to 8,000 people and they followed them, like recorded them through the course of a year, asked them to record from their smartphones days that they were feeling lonely and then compared the results. And but in general, like countries have done statistics now where they feel like loneliness is actually an epidemic
Yeah.
in the post-COVID era.
Fair.
And
Makes sense.
it's the
Yeah, it
silent
does,
killer that
right?
no one talks about. And the reason I brought up this stat is also that now more and more studies are linking it also to physical ailments. So it was always linked to like cardiovascular issues like heart issues and other cardiovascular
Immune
issues.
goes down,
Yeah.
heart issues. all
And the
these
reason
stuff.
I asked this question is because like, do you feel like every time you've had a particularly low lonely phase, you feel it come out and manifest in like physical forms as well?
It
My
does, right?
stomach. My stomach is where my anxiety is since I was a child. I also take it out on food a lot. Like when I am feeling a certain way, I'll take it out on food.
Like you'll eat junk and you'll eat trash that's
Or
not
I
good
won't
for you.
eat at all.
Yeah, me.
Yeah, like I just forget. Like literally, my body will not, like my physiological need for food will vanish because my brain is so occupied with other things that it's not going to remind me to eat, and I will just not eat it.
I agree.
And I won't like food, for example. So I think my stomach has always been where my anxiety is stored, and it has reacted in so like my stomach will ache when I have had a depressive episode for 2 weeks, and then I'm like falling sick.
Thank you for sharing that, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like mine has always been like, I feel like I start getting a head fever, and by head fever I mean like only my head starts to feel like the heaviest part of my body.
Phantom pain is also a symptom of PTSD because I know someone close to me who has it, and it's just like sometimes a part of your body starts hurting, and it's a result of your body reacting to a certain pain that you may have felt in another part of your body. It's like it's really messed up, and people don't talk about the physical aspects of what your mental health is. Like
Yeah.
Have you seen it like manifest in any physical form, like any sort
Well,
of?
not because of loneliness, but definitely like I have been diagnosed with OCD, and I was in a depressive state, and I'm doing much better, honestly. But it would be my chest, and I couldn't breathe, and I would have panic attack, and that would be crazy for me. Like my chest hurts really bad. So yeah.
And sometimes it takes you to other spaces, right? Because you're actually wondering that, oh, I'm so young, but could I possibly be having a heart attack, or what is happening? And
Yeah. You know, I had the worst experience with my first therapist. It was my best friend's mother. And she gave me like a whole 30-minute conversation. We had a 30-minute conversation. 25 minutes she spoke about her life so that I could learn something from her. And I was like, that's such a red flag. And you know, they trivialize what you feel. And that's, yeah, we should actually talk about red flags in therapists.
Sure, go ahead.
No, but no, just mentioning that. But yeah, like it took me so much time and so much of self-work to actually be fine and better. I was on meds as well, but I'm doing I'm really happy right now.
No, thank you for sharing the meds part, because I feel like that's another topic that people are so freaking scared to even admit.
My parents were so scared that I'm taking meds.
mine too.
Because there's such a lot of
Bye, dude. But I think even in our generation, anytime I tell anybody of my age or younger than me, they always scare of meds, dependency, and I can't fathom like, no, I don't think it's a generational thing necessarily.
Yeah, you're right, but that is also conditioning, right? Like, I mean, I know some of
वहीं से आ रही है,
some of my
agreed.
closest friends will be like, हाँ, therapy, सब लोग कर रहे हैं.
But medicine.
Meds, and I'll be like, but babe, think about meds. It'll really help you. I swear it helped me. Nee. I've told the therapist, no, meds not
No
right
meds.
now. Let me work on myself.
But can I add to that? Sometimes when you're so sad and depressed, your mind is not capable of thinking objectively like that.
Yeah,
Your
I agree to that
serotonin is
part,
less,
yeah.
so you need the medicines for thinking objectively.
So it should go actually hand in hand.
Yeah,
Like you
exactly.
take those medications, but don't forget the therapy part,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that's going to actually change your mindset or your perception, how you're going to deal with every
I think all
emotion.
psychiatrists recommend
And I
that
feel
also.
Yeah.
When they give you
we-
medication,
They
they say continue
We as a
therapy.
people are not even open to the idea
cannot
of
You can't, yeah.
we are not open to the idea of actually discussing our emotions. Rona nahi chahiye, it's a sign of weakness. Why is it a sign of weakness? So we always keep repressing the emotions of everybody, and that's why we see pura emotional imbalances ho jate hain.
But I feel like that is the role where we, as with our parents, with our grandparents, with others around, as people who are sort of going through it and are learning things in therapy and are discovering how it's helping us, the only way to normalize it is to pay it forward, right?
Yeah.
So for example, if I've done the medication and my therapist said something so interesting, she's like, listen, if your stomach's in a really bad place for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or a month or two, you're going to take medication to fix it at some point, right? Whether it's homeopathy, allopathy, whatever you decide. So, but when it comes to your brain and there's a chemical imbalance which is making you feel a certain way,
yeah.
it's not producing the chemicals that you need to function correctly. Why are you so scared to take the medication? I don't know. Just
I wanted to segue into something very interesting that was not mentioned in the whole questions. I don't know, I should have mentioned that, but romantic loneliness.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as well.
Are we all single?
I'm single.
I'm single.
Are you single?
No, I'm married.
Oh, you can't relate to this. Yeah, very
Tell me.
single. So growing up, of course, I'm gay. I thought there's going to be no gay person in the world. And because my dad was in the army, we kept traveling around the whole country. So grew up in very small towns like Jabalpur, Siliguri, like very small.
Oh.
Yeah. So I thought I'm never going to find love. And I never had like the high school romance, we could hold hands. So I thought I'm not meant to have love. And that I was always so sad about that. And as an adult, now I'm inundated with men, I would say. But now I'm
Good problem to have.
yeah, but I'm kind of settling now because I'm just like, because that kid couldn't have, so maybe koi bhi chalega. So I think that kind of made me more hurt. And so it's now at this age I want to unlearn. And I think a lot of queer people will relate to this, that they didn't have a childhood, their 20s are their childhood because they're unlearning and learning again.
Amen.
So yeah.
It's true. Romantic loneliness, I think every one of us is feeling it, yeah, Anish. I mean, this is a generation where we're looking at dating apps and we're shopping like we're in a sabji market. नहीं ये भाजी का color ठीक नहीं लग रहा है, left. ये
Yeah,
भाजी का
doing
size
Modi.
ठीक नहीं लग रहा है,
Exactly.
right. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, how are we going on dating apps and we're shopping for humans?
Yeah,
The same way we shop for clothes.
And we're selling ourselves.
And we're selling ourselves. We are also part of the items listed
Yeah, we
over
this
there.
brand.
Yeah. So this romantic loneliness is 110%, I feel like irrespective of where, you're, whether you're straight, you're lesbian,
Yeah,
you're gay,
yeah.
you feel this
Feel
romantic,
that.
this generation
Yeah.
feels that.
Yeah, 100%.
Because also people view you as a complete person once you have found your person. People think you're incomplete until you have fully, like you're with the person that you want to spend the rest of your life
Yes,
with.
agreed.
Even if you're like casually dating, I don't think people view you as a
Individual.
Yeah, like you've achieved the hierarchy, like the ultimate position of you as an individual.
And
once-
as
Yeah.
someone who's been there, done that,
yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
no. No.
right.
But can I, what you touched upon, which my mind went to when I was speaking, is like, now I'm experiencing something which is like, I've become single again, right? So my entire group is filled with couples. And sometimes I'm literally running and I don't want to hang out with them because I feel like the odd one out and I feel like I'm lonely in that group sometimes. In my head, I'm like, oh, I know that they're going to go home together, they're going to go home together, they're going to go home together.
I'm gonna with me.
Hello.
What the hell? Yeah, I get
Am
that.
I lonely?
Yeah.
That's when the alone
fair.
and the lonely are.
Segueing into your love life. Yeah. I'm
No,
very.
I don't think I'm there yet, which is why I don't know if I'm ready to date someone.
no,
But are you
that's a lie.
dating? Are you exploring? Are you meeting people?
I'm meeting people, I'm talking to people, but I'm also like trying to value myself and get over my fears so that I don't take it out on the other person.
Yeah,
I'll have to be a full, like I have to achieve, not that I have to achieve some pinnacle of personhood for me to date someone. I can,
Personhood, love it.
I can still be a flawed individual and still fall in love, but I just want to be able to feel like secure when I'm alone so that I don't depend on them to cure my loneliness.
100%.
I totally agree to the fact that somewhere when you are happy with yourself, self-love is there, happy with yourself, not feeling those moments, that is when you can actually pour from yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you can't pour from an empty cup. It's the same way. Like a lot of clients do come to us in Koto block hoga, unblock hoga, will I have that meaningful connection, will last long? I always believe that you're giving that power to someone else to ask if will it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
will it's not gonna happen, will he is loyal, rather than really investing into that relationship and working towards it, right?
I don't know why blocking is such a major
Yeah,
issue
it is,
though. Like I
huge.
feel like I take it very like, oh, you have to block me, huh? That's how much you couldn't like deal with it. Like, okay then.
Oh.
I don't block only. I'm like,
Even I don't. I never block.
I don't have
"What? Nah, I
anyone to
won't talk
block.
you."
I will only.
Lies.
No, no.
I will block if you stalk. It's
true.
Okay.
Sorry, say
I
it
will
again.
block if you stalk. Otherwise, I
Oh.
won't block.
But
Oh.
they can stalk you from a fake account.
But they're giving you engagement,
No, no,
na?
I mean like if you're constantly messaging me after I said I would like to
Acha.
cut
Oh.
contact.
Oh,
and
no,
I would
that's
not like to.
disgusting. No, no.
Yeah, so I'm just like, how many numbers am I going to block? Like, bro,
Wow,
chill.
Shan.
Wow, look at the privilege.
No one's ever contacted me from different numbers.
No, I've got in emails. Bapre.
What's happening?
Bhai,
Can
I
I
don't
have your
know.
life?
Okay, but I want to end this segment by asking you guys a slightly like serious question. I know we're not in that zone, which I love by the way because I thought that this episode would be a little bit like intense. Love that we've kept it regular.
I love that, yeah.
Because we're normalizing it. We're not being like loneliness, matlab, oh God, no, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But how would
But
you tell your
sometimes
friends? How would you tell your friends and family members and just people who are around, even your teams? Because for us, for example, our teams are such a big part of what we do, right? How would you tell them, like when you're going through it?
Ask them what they want, I would say.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what? Depends on person to person, right? If I am going through something, I want to be treated a specific way for me to feel better.
Sure.
My friend or my sister is going through it, I'll ask them what they want me to do. But knowing and just being a little bit aware, I think is applicable to everyone. Because if you're aware of your friend and of how they are when they're kind of happy, then you will be able to notice when they are not.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
well
when you
said.
can
Very
ask.
true.
Yeah.
So well said. I mean, I feel like sometimes like they're telling you indirectly how they're feeling, but you're not listening. You're not
Yes,
paying
yes.
attention. And I feel like with some of our friends and some of our family members, we're so deeply connected that it should get to the point that, you know, even if something is feeling off, ask. Hey, you good?
Yeah.
And if nothing else, just show up.
You know, it's so funny we're talking about friends and we don't talk about our parents. Like, parents don't express to us. And I was just thinking, do I do that for my parents ever? Like, have I ever really sat down with them and said, okay, tell me what's up? Are you feeling this way? Are you sad? Because I don't even know when my parents are sad. They just don't show it because they're always here for me. And that's how parents are, and at least mine are. And I was just thinking, it's time to grow up and actually start thinking about them also, yeah.
I want to tell you, I don't know how Mama has become a part of every episode, but she has. And I want to tell you, like, it happens. Like, you have to build that. You have to find that bridge, something that connects you, and then it'll just flow. My mom and I'd watch movies together. What do you and your parents do together?
Gossip. Gossip.
Great.
Best thing is to do gossip.
Great.
Yeah.
What
Even
do
I
you and-
agree to that point.
Right?
Gossip, talking.
About other family members, no?
I think anything that you talk about your office, you talk about anything, it's like spending that moment time where you're telling them कि, you know, नहीं कर पाई मैं, or maybe मैं कर पाई. But there's no judgment attached to it. It's just like gossiping about anything or everything.
Yeah.
My
Makes it
parents are
feel-
heavily involved in my love life. So we're discussing my love life and my career life. Two things we only.
amazing.
Yeah. Fuck, it's crazy.
My mother is not invested in my love life, but she's heavily invested in Fahd Fasil. You, what do you do with your parents?
They are also like me only. So when we're having fun, we're just like, it's just this. We're all a little whack. So I think our bonding experience is just cracking jokes.
I love
If we
that.
can do that,
Own
then we're
it.
having a good time.
The Barrys are whack.
They're whack.
Own it. The Sequeras are crack. We own it. We're like, we're going to do this stuff. But listen, we have people who've written in questions, and you know, I'm going to ask these questions. Whoever feels like they want to take it,
Ooh, okay.
please do. Okay. The question, first one. I feel lonely even though I have friends and family around me. How do I address this feeling? How do I tell people I am lonely? How have I told people I'm lonely?
I sometimes I feel people find it difficult to communicate that, like to tell people. So I found that instead of calling someone and telling them, I feel very like on a stage when I'm like talking verbally. Texting has helped me feel a bit more comforting. There's very small things that you can do to make your communication easier. Like maybe writing a letter to someone is how you feel comfortable sharing your loneliness. Different ways of expressing yourself can make that like barrier of, oh my God, what are they going to think of me, a little easier, I feel, like with your friends and family also.
Yeah, okay.
But it's
Texting.
so
better.
challenging to have not good family members and friends, right? We're lucky to, yeah, but
I mean, guys, if you have even like, if you can count on your finger, even like 1, 2, maybe 3 people
Yeah.
who are going to turn up like without question, you won the lottery. Your lottery
Yeah.
is not based on how much money you have and this and that. वो आएगा जाएगा आएगा जाएगा. The lottery is the people you have.
yeah.
Just spend time. I feel just be there. Don't run away from the fact that you're lonely. Be there with the people. Somewhere you will find something.
Yeah.
Somewhere you will find some connect कि यार शायद मैं इन दो से नहीं पर शायद इससे बात कर सकती हूँ.
Yeah.
So just find that connect. I think we generally shut ourselves down. हम उस isolation में चले जाते हैं and we keep moving back.
And not all your friends can help you with all your problems.
Exactly.
Approach a specific person who knows something about your life, talk to them about that, and approach someone else for something different. It's okay.
मैंने
Not
तो
everyone.
categories बना रखी हैं.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. I often turn to social media to fill the void when I'm feeling lonely. How can I stop using it as a distraction and start addressing my feelings directly? I feel like you are the right person to take this, Anish. Like turning to social media for loneliness.
I think you should be mindful about the content you consume, because social media, I think it has helped so many people to actually discover themselves. There are so many people who are actually making video on loneliness or how to become rich or how to do things for yourself, like YouTubers, and there's a lot of content online. So it's not social media, it's filtering through the right content. So it's YouTube algorithm is the algorithm of life. You search Hindi music, you'll get more recommended. So you have to be mindful of where you're going on social media. So I think it's that.
Okay, but should people be turning to social media for help when they're feeling lonely?
I mean, it's an option. It's not mutually exclusive. Therapy is great. I think having opinion of people who are objectively giving you an advice is great.
Okay. Anyone else have any take on social media?
I think you said it really well. Like, you just have to be, like, it's a whole different world. Like, how you would behave in your real life, you should also kind of be just as careful, I guess. Like, you wouldn't just venture into a random corner on the street in real life. So don't go into that side of the internet where you kind of feel like you're going to get into a rut again and you're not going to get out of it. Doom scroll for the whole night.
I have started putting timers on all my
yeah,
apps.
that
Yeah.
also helps.
I feel when I scroll so much, you feel that kind of a comparison. Oh, maybe this is missing in my life. I feel that it's coming more from outside than maybe it's within you, right?
Everyone's having their
Oh my
best
God.
life
Yeah,
on
because it's the best thing that's being put on the social media. So I feel ki it has to be actually balanced out. Yes, you do take that help out, watch something which is nice and great, but do withdraw yourself to have that
Absolutely.
authentic connection with yourself.
Yeah, your life can't be social media.
Social media,
Yeah.
exactly.
Even if it is.
Yeah, even if it is, yeah.
Okay, next question I think is really interesting. Is it possible to feel lonely when you're in a relationship? I'm in a relationship, but I still feel lonely sometimes. Is this normal? And should I be addressing my partner
Can I
about
answer
it?
that?
Sure.
I think sometimes people date out of loneliness and not actually companionship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to work on your self-worth, you got to work on how you perceive yourself and attract the right person.
Exactly, totally agree to that part.
So you're setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Setting healthy boundaries, understanding yourself, what you want from the relationship, what you expect. Somehow we just like, because of social needs it, oh, you don't have a boyfriend. Oh, somebody is blocking you. Oh, maybe sense of feeling of rejection. Leave all that and just look for that authentic connection where both of you grow together, which I feel that people just stop looking at it, right?
Yeah.
So it should be companionship rather than actually, and you do feel lonely in a relationship many times. I mean, I feel
Even
many
friendships.
times, yeah.
Even
Even
friendships.
friendship,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even
I
in
mean,
happy
any-
relationships, I'm
Yeah.
sure you feel one.
I feel like, see, I mean, in relationships, I feel like so many of us know marriages where two people are just existing and coexisting together and there's no connection. You can see it as friends of those people. You can see it loud and clear, and I'm like, who's going to tell them?
Who's going to tell them?
Yeah, who's going to be the one to be like, bro?
And they stick around because of attachment. मेरा
It's a
क्या होगा
habit.
उसके बाद?
It's either financial independence and the
that-
lack of it,
Yeah.
and it's habit. And if they're children, then well, all the more
whole
complicated. Yeah, but anyway.
But it's normal, I guess. to
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think
it.
it's completely normal to feel like that.
Yeah.
And should you
Yeah.
talk to your partner about it?
Definitely. I
Yeah.
feel that should be the first step, that at least you should tell what you're feeling being with him.
And his
Like, you know-
reaction or the reaction will tell you a lot about that person and if you
Yes.
want to continue the relationship.
Exactly. There are a lot many times that you assume you are feeling lonely because you made a wall around you, ki, you know, he's not understanding me. Maybe you didn't take that first step of talking it out, ki, you know, this is what I feel, and maybe you realize, oh, I didn't even realize it. So that connection is missing. It's just because both are busy in their own world, because we are living in that busy world. We don't realize that that quality time is required, that connect time is required. Or maybe I always feel that the couple should also do something together. Maybe that playing
Cardio.
of Ludo as a therapy, I give it to a lot of my couples, works wonder. Or playing those,
We played Ludo, but we still didn't end up together.
I'm saying
It's
like,
not working, your advice is not working here.
We really enjoyed playing Ludo though. We were so competitive about it.
I love board game, Monopoly, Ludo, Life. Oh, I think it's the best.
because we don't spend that time together.
Yeah.
When you spend that time together is when you start talking about it. I'm not happy with it, maybe my expectations. We tend to fail to even say our expectations. We believe कि ये तो होना चाहिए. We assume in a relationship. And that's how we started building that wall and get into that loneliness phase.
Unfortunately, even if you share, most people don't change. And they don't have the bandwidth to change. So that is a very unfortunate thing that is very evident in our lives. People
It
don't
has to
change.
be
I
balanced
think
it out.
people change when they want to change. No,
Yes.
Not because how you are feeling.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, you have to ask yourself then if your life is going to be better without that partner, then maybe you don't want to change because there's a part of you that's already given up on that relationship.
yeah.
But if that partner and the information that they're sharing is making you feel a certain way, like, no, I need to try harder, then maybe you will change. I'm not willing to completely dismiss that, oh, you know, no one will ever change. Then there's
No,
no hope to hold on to.
I'm questioning it. I don't know. I feel it's very hard for me to believe that people change. I feel that.
Today it is 100%.
Yeah.
But again, I think I've also got good examples in that sense where I've seen friends and their partners really push it to make things work, even like changing countries and continents for each other.
Fair,
So I
fair.
feel like they've set good examples over there. My last question. I've experienced loneliness for a really long time and it feels like it's become a part of me. How do I know that I'm no longer lonely?
How
When
do
you
I
don't have to ask this question.
Exactly.
Like, you know, sometimes loneliness can become such a part of us, or just feeling like a certain way mentally can become such a part of us that we don't even know when we've maybe come out of that phase.
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That makes so much
Sense,
sense.
Bap, it is so
Unfortunately, I
intense.
relate actually. That's why I'm kind of quiet because I feel like, yeah, like, yes, I don't know when you'll know until you're out of it. So I guess no, not asking that. I don't know if there's like a button that switches inside you, but I don't think it's like a phase that ends. I do think you feel lonely on and off throughout life.
I think it's there as one of your traits. I feel like, and it's like you've got to make friends with it. Okay, you've come back for a hangout for a few days. Cool.
What's up?
Have
What's
a lunch
up?
with it.
Yeah.
That's the term.
Let's go through this entire cycle of breaking down, crying, and figuring it out together.
Yeah, you feel angry, you feel sad, you feel happy, you feel lonely.
You should feel lonely. It's not hating on loneliness. You should feel lonely because it also helps you tap into your strength. So let's have a lunch with it. Let's silver lining. Let's look at the best side of it. Allow it, and then it'll leave automatically when it has to, and come back again for dinner. So
And the next time it comes, you know what to cook for it.
yeah,
On that golden line, I couldn't have done it better. Okay.
yeah, lovely.
Thank you, Anish. Thank you, Kareema. Thank you, Neha. I love that this conversation was not, oh my God, we've got to cry or we've got to be like so intense about it, because that might have scared a few people off, right? Like, oh, I don't want to ever be like that.
Yeah.
But the fact that I think that we were able to have this conversation and we have like two really successful creators sitting here and talking about it normalizes it a big deal.
Thank you.
thank
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you for having
Thank you
us,
for
yeah.
having
Coming.
this conversation.
Thank you, Neha, for sharing all your valuable insights. And yeah,
And thank you to you for making this a safe space and being wonderful as you are.